How you doing, fellas and gals? This is my latest project, this old 83 GL650 Silverwing. And there'll be many stages of this video, but I thought I'd share this with you. On many occasions I've got an old bike and the side covers have the mounting tabs busted off. How do you fix that? So I'll show you what I did on mine. Here's, as an example, this one right here. So we'll pull this off of here. Now, one of the pieces that was missing was the top half of this U section here. This was gone. Well, what I did is I went out to my junkyard where I've got some plastic fenders, cut a piece of plastic out, and shaped it to fit this here, put a bend in it so it had the same bend as the original one, and then glued it with super glue and then reinforced it with JB Weld, and that is probably stronger than it ever was now. As far as the mounts go, this mount was completely missing. Just the very outline of the base was there, and this one here, the mount was still there. Somebody had put a screw in there, ground the head off the screw to where it would just nicely ease into the rubber receptacle. And so I thought that's a good idea, so I did the same thing on this one. I just took a hex head screw that had a shoulder on it and ground it down, rounded it smooth, so it just nicely feed through that rubber grommet. Now this one here, I just took some 1/2-inch aluminum rod and flattened it out on the end so it looked similar to what went in there, and then took some JB Weld putty and put a nice bunch of that down, as you can see around here, to push that into there to where it roughly would be, I mean, as close as you can get it. Form the putty around it, because it holds its shape quite well. Then you take it, snap the back one in, the top one in, and you push the bottom one in, and don't touch it till it's done. And leave that sit for several hours, and it'll be nice and firm and nice and strong. Now the other one, I'll go get it. Just hang tough for a second. Okay, this is the other side cover. As you can see, the U shape, how that was formed there, you see that? That's how I tried to do that one I just showed you. So that's going to be real nice. On this one here, it was this back stud that was missing. I used another piece of the aluminum rod, stuck it in the lathe, or you could put it in a drill chuck and just hold your angle grinder up against it and shape that little tip on there so it snaps in, and then leave a square shoulder for it to bottom out against, where it needs to be. Then same thing, use some of the JB putty to basically get it in place, push the cover on, and leave it sit for an hour or so. Now in this particular one, the tip was busted off, so I made a form and put some JB Weld on there. We'll just see how that turned out. Peel the tape off there. I use about 4 layers of tape to make kind of a firm deal. And there I've got the JB Weld. This is of course going to have to be filed and shaped to come up with the original shape like the other one is, like it originally was. But yeah, I've got nice covers when I get them all, the body work done on them, and they're gonna be real nice covers. Yeah, before this one's got to go on, I've got to do the shaping on the end here. This JB Weld has got to cure some more. It's still a little rubbery, but yeah. So that's how you do that. You get those anchors put back on there. Just a little more information on this bike. It hadn't been started in about 30 years. Just been sitting. A lot of that time was outside, although it wasn't too bad. A lot of it was inside. You can see the tank, pretty nice. It still had the decal on it, but I'm going to paint this tank to put on another bike that I've got down in Yuma. And these side covers are going to go. This is going to end up being probably like a cafe racer or something while it's done. But unfortunately, this motor, I've got to pull it, split the case, do the triple bypass, which for newbies to the CXGL people, it's a timing chain, stator, water pump, and then while you're in there, you pull the front off and adjust your oil pump chain so it's got the right amount of slack in it. It's just a matter of loosening the bolts and tweak it a bit and tighten the bolts back up. Of course, when the engine's out, I'll pull the carbs out, rebuild them. The big deal with this one, I wouldn't be pulling this out, I don't think, were it not for the starter drive. The little springs, they look like a little bit larger than a writing pen spring, a little spring in there. There's 3 of them in there that put tension on the 3 rollers that exert pressure on the hub in there. Well, those springs are most likely broken because it just keeps slipping around and around. It did work a little bit at first, but then they slipped. And once that happens, you better stop, because if you keep using it like that, you'll destroy that surface on the hub, and they're practically impossible to find. You'd end up having to take it to the machine shop, have it spray weld, build it back up, and then machine down to the size it needs to be and polished and everything. Costs you a lot of money. So starter drive starts acting up, stop, fix it. That's got to be done. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done on this. The glass is broken out of the gauges, the speedometer and the tachometer. I've got to take them apart, put new glass in it. The fairing I took off and chucked that. I got to find a headlight that I can mount up here. I got to find the radiator covers. They're available on eBay. You can find that kind of stuff. But other than that, you know, the headers are in nice shape. The exhaust system's in good shape. The wheels look real nice. Of course, it's going to need shock seals and dust covers on there, on the forks. But I should be able to make a pretty nice old bike out of this. But anyway, I hope this this little remedy here gives you some ideas on how to make these little anchors. And once they're done, I mean, they're invisible when on the bike anyway. You don't have to worry about them cosmetically so much, because it's all covered anyway. These ones were good, but I strengthened them, you see. Built them up with JB Weld and JB Putty. These will never break now. You know, once this is done, these will outlast the originals 10 to 1. I mean, they'll never fail anymore. So I hope this has been helpful to you, anybody watching. And I'll close this video out. If it's been helpful to you, well, subscribe to my channel if you like, and I'll be posting more videos in the future. So have a good day, everyone.